Alright guys, quick update. I've started dieting. I'm going to start dieting anyways. And let me show you guys kind of sort of what I'm talking about. I'm going to kind of just give you guys a quick run through as to why I'm dieting and what this means for next year. So one thing's for sure, I'm 95% sure that I'm going to compete next year. But in order for me to do that, I have to start setting up next year now, which sounds kind of crazy, but you guys will maybe understand this a bit more clearly once I'm done with this portion of the video. So yeah, I know I just filmed here. It's not really that impressive, but here, let me make sense of it. So basically since October of 2011, I've been slowly gaining weight, and I peaked out at about 190 pounds. So 190 pounds is about as big as I got, and the main reason I wanted to get this heavy, which is 30 pounds over my stage weight, is because I wanted to get strong, really strong, and I think I've done that for the most part. I think I've been lifting big and heavy for a long enough time that I think it's definitely left a dent in my physique, and I think that it's a lot of fat guy strength that I'll be able to bring down with me as I diet down, which is usually the case. Usually I'll lose maybe at most 5% on all my big lifts. So I'm anxious to take this fat guy strength and bring it down. So what I'm going to do from here until I'm suspecting end of August, I'm going to trim down to about 172 pounds, and then from August until January pretty much I'm gonna maintain, definitely gain a little bit, but for the most part just maintain and maintain. I like that, gaintain. I'm gonna trademark that, gaintain. So I'll make gains in the weight room, but I'm gonna maintain my my weight for the most part. So I'm going to probably start my diet at about 173 to 174 pounds. And, you know, I've done shows. Last year I did shows at as heavy as 164. So that's about 10 pounds over stage weight, which is, I think it's a great place to start. And I think the more advanced you become, the more it's not just about making gains in the off season, but it's really setting yourself up to keep those gains on the way back down. So when you're pushing on the limits of your own performance, and you're wanting to keep performance at a high level throughout a whole prep, it's really a disservice to yourself to, I think, to start 30-35 pounds over. It's going to be a whole lot easier to maintain food relatively high, and because of that, be able to perform at off-season levels or very close to off-season levels most of the way, and keep whatever you worked really hard to put on during the off-season. So as part of the reason why I've started this diet, I'm looking to lose, say I'm about 188 actually, 187, so about 17 pounds or so, maybe a little bit more, and yeah, just set myself up to have a long, non-invasive pre-contest diet next year. So that's the deal, and that's the one thing. I keep starting leaner and leaner every time that I've done this, and I think now more than ever that I'm shouldering a lot more responsibilities than in previous years. I really have to stay on top of my game and be an example in some ways. So I'm going to start tighter, I'm going to start leaner. This is definitely not something that I just only recommend for more advanced bodybuilders, but just for anyone. If you're adding weight to your lifts and not necessarily gaining weight but not losing weight, chances are, and especially if you're at the point where you want to compete, chances are you are at least a high-level intermediate bodybuilder. Chances are that you are making some changes to your physique, and because you're not putting on a ton of fat, it's going to be easier. Not easy, but it's going to be easier to sustain that on the way down, and not just keep your lifts, but keep your mind intact. So that is it. Not just for the sake of an easier diet, an easier time in the gym, but also to keep my sanity, guys. It's all about that setup. Guys, this is the bad bunch right here.
Good.
We invited Manny. Thank you, Manny, for coming out. Lavado and his older brother.
Patrick Willis.
Juan Valencia. He used to have the APA Juniors record in the 181s in the deadlift.
I don't think anybody cares about that.
He used to, and then some guy named Bryce Lewis came over and he broke it. And Bryce Lewis, he edged you out, dude. He took your record, 672.
Most people probably just remember me as the guy sleeping on the couch.
Oh, the glory days, dude. We can just lie. Like, it'll be like Paul Bunyan will say that Juan deadlifted, like 600 back in the 80s. And then he hurt his back and just drinks out of pity now.
I know.
Cheers.
Cheers to the good old days.
Okay. That's been very impolite. There we go.
Salud.
Alright guys, so this was basically my week in training, and I kind of was, I was kind of on the sidelines for a minute there with what turned out to be a little bit more than just a head cold. So I was not able to train as much as I would have liked for this meet. Basically my last good workouts were at Lane's camp. So this is going to be my squat opener, or somewhere around here anyways. This is 415, and kind of lost my groove here, but I don't think it's going to be an issue the day of the meet. And with my deadlifts, I actually went a little bit heavier than my opener. So this is 545, and the reason I went a little bit heavier is just because I wanted to get a feel for this bar. This is a deadlift bar, has a ton of whip in it, so it really throws me off at the last half of my deadlift. So with 545, nothing really out of the ordinary, but you're going to see it here with 585. Kind of fell out of my groove for a second there. And to tell you the truth, I probably would feel more confident with a stiff bar, just because off the floor, even with a sumo, I'm pretty fast. So I don't struggle off the floor. It's just more so finishing the lift. So at least of late, that's been the issue. So you can kind of see it here. Kind of threw me off, but now I'm ready. I feel mentally prepared, and I think that 600 might go at this meet, and I might be pretty close to a 1,400 pound total. If not, I might break 1,400 by a bit. So even though training wasn't all there, I think we're gonna do what we can, and I think it's gonna turn out pretty good. At least that's what I'm saying now. So